Welcome to America, the land of freedom. Freedom sold separately. My name is Rich, and I am so glad that you could be here today. The day Donald Trump was convicted of a felony in New York is also his most successful day of presidential fundraising of his entire campaign. Trump supporters donated $35 million to him within hours of the guilty verdict. And within hours of that, Biden was begging his supporters for money too. God, at this point, every time I hear American politicians talk about needing your cash, I just think about that one video that got leaked of the mobile developer saying that the best way to make money is to trick rich people into fighting each other over who can give the most money. Does that not sound oddly familiar as the red versus blue divide continues to tear us apart? I struggle to even engage with this election as an actual political divide anymore. I mean, what is the actual difference between these bozos aside from the fact that they want to beat the other guy? Neither side's doing enough for Ukraine. Neither side seems willing to do more than token gestures to the people of Palestine. And it just feels like another election to end all elections. Another battle for the soul of the nation. After all those other elections to end all elections that were also battles for the soul of our nation. Barack versus McCain, Hillary versus Trump, Trump versus Biden, Trump versus Biden again. Both sides have to know that the stakes can't continue climbing, indefinitely, right? There will come a point at which there's not, people will just know that this election won't matter. At the very least, the necessary campaign funding can't keep growing exponentially with every preceding election. Although, if they do think that every single election can bring in more cash than the last, that would put their thinking in line with the average corrupt American corporation, so yeah, that probably is what they think, actually. Yeah, they probably think they can bring in more money with every preceding election. Welcome to America. I also had someone recently inform me on Instagram that my intuition is actually Russian propaganda. Hilarious, since I didn't actually read this online, it just seemed intuitive. Trump brought in record amounts of campaign funding. ActBlue handles the Democrats' campaign funding. ActBlue would look at that and want to bring in record amounts of money for themselves. That would make them look good. That's their job. That just seems like the logical output of the situation. That is always one of my favorite things when I try to logically work through something and then someone shouts from the comment section that it's a talking point for someone that they don't like, so it's therefore invalid, I guess. So what's the thesis of all this? Americans on both sides of the red v blue divide are more fired up than ever, giving more money than ever, and simultaneously they despise the candidates more than ever, with both Trump and Biden receiving significant pushback from within their own parties. I think we've peaked in the 2028 election when they inevitably roll out some big campaign to raise more money than ever to make sure that we beat the other side. Pick one. It'll be pitched as even bigger, an election to end all elections, a battle for the soul of the nation, and I just don't think people will buy it. The federal government has already seen its influence waning in favor of states and city governments. More on the side of Republican states, but even on Democratic ones, there have been some pretty significant moves. My personal favorite being Hawaii saying that the spirit of aloha supersedes federal open carry laws. So if I were to speculate wildly, I would say that the political machinations of Washington, D.C. will never, at any point in the future, as much as I can never tell, will never feel as real and as pressing to the individual American as they do right now. But we've peaked. And when it turns out that these two dinosaurs are just mediocre politicians shunted into their position by larger powers that be, bigger political and campaign forces. And like I said, when the 2028 election cycle starts and Americans are pushed one more time to be a part of the election to end all elections, the battle for the soul of the nation that requires your money to defeat the other guy, I don't know if they'll want to take part. You can't tell people that they're in a desperate struggle forever. Or I could be totally wrong and 2028 will be even bigger and then the election on the other side of that will fall even harder. It is possible, honestly. I actually thought that Americans would have gotten sick of this after Hillary's defeat, but it seems like the left kind of galvanized after that, but they will run out of steam eventually. Overall, I just can't see this epic battle for America's future rhetoric leading us anywhere except the American people going numb to it. Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know. But I do hope to see you in the next one.